Say what? Look. I'm on tour right now.
The New OGs. The New OGs is a State and Madison entertainment production and is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill. You can raise the value of your home, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is a Black-owned company and a SunPower dealer, which is an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact for a free consult. Why do you always inhale before you do that? It's I get more concerned about your health than the question you're going to ask. I'm like, the last thing I need is for this nigga to have a heart attack in the middle of a promo for a company. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Save
that
that
would be
shit.
an amazing promotion because, I would survive. I'm immortal. But here's the point. I just want to go real quick because you just said some crazy shit, and I want to make sure
Let's clarify.
people listening and watching know exactly what you said. According to you, people can save money on their electricity bill every month by going solar.
They could save money every month.
Going solar also does something amazing for the environment.
Helps the environment out. Yeah,
And
we're relying less on gas and all the other crazy stuff.
pipeline shutdowns won't fuck you up if you
Won't fuck you up. You'll be all good with solar.
And if I understand this correctly, if they refer somebody and they go solar,
Right.
you get $500 every time you do that?
Every time. There's no cap. In fact, if you go through the website at gosolarmasters.com and sign up to be an advocate, the first $20,000 that you make by doing that is not taxable.
What?
Yeah.
Bobby, I'm going to tell you right now, people will have to put their mask back on because they robbing you.
Well, if you need some money to buy some more K95s, get over to www.gosolarmasters.com. Get in contact for a free consultation or to refer somebody that you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. That is a network that we're on right now. James Webb is the man behind the boards, running everything for us right here. Hey. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. See all the great shows. People of Comedy's sister company, Put 'em Over Productions, has been out filming again. Put 'em Over Productions. The weebie turned me into give me the Joe Biden stutter effect. You know what I mean? Anytime I got a www something or say anything with some alliteration when I'm high, it turns into a fun thing. But Put 'em Over Productions.
Joe Biden's problem because that motherfucker Joe is not.
Just
his wit is not. Yeah, that nigga be he be blazing. That's why he fired everybody that smoked weed for him because somebody stole his stash. Somebody got him to the president's stash.
Nobody was giving him the hookup. That was the move.
Everybody this motherfucker smoked weed. Fired. Nobody want to tell me who got my shit. Everybody fired. Nobody smoked weed. Fired till y'all tell me who got my shit.
That's hilarious. James, you guys have been out filming, right? You guys with what they had the auditions for
Just for Laughs, Laugh Factory.
Yeah. I kept saying Laugh Factory.
Yeah, it was great. And yeah, we'll be out there for we being just me, but we'll be out there the next 2 weeks that they have showcases on Thursdays. Last night was terrific. I mean, dude, like it's such a testament to how talented people are here. Like there's I think they're showcasing 30 stand-up comics, and I think, what is it, like 20-something character people as well. So there's two different showcases, and that doesn't even scratch the surface of how many folks truly deserve a shot.
Stand-ups kind of take shots at the character stuff a lot, and I've been one of them, but I've come around on that full circle because there are some people who do front-facing comedy that are funny as fuck, and I respect the shit out of what they do because that shit's not easy.
I had yesterday. I agree with that too. It's fun to kind of make fun of or shit on or whatever things that you're not part of or don't understand. But I mean, I gotta tell you, dude. Like yesterday, like the character showcases. I actually knew one of the people on there from a lifetime ago when I was a manager at Second City. One of my former hosts there did a character spot, and it was so cool to see just a different kind of solo act on a stage. That was really good. Everyone did so well, including the young man I know, Evan Mills. Look him up on Instagram. He's a killer.
Oh shit, I know him.
You probably heard the name. Yeah.
We're filming sketches in which we have to play characters. We are, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I love Chris Red, and he's a great stand-up, but also he has great character. He does great characters.
Yeah,
like
Chris Red did a great stand-up. His character work. I mean, he wasn't part of the front-facing camera thing, but he did tons of sketch work. He's a great writer.
Yeah, character work has been around since before front-facing camera stuff.
Right, right.
Front-facing camera stuff is all well and good, but like character work is like sketch stuff. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. Character work.
Yeah, but character work was around well before. I'm just saying, like it was around well before the front-facing camera shit was.
Yeah, and these are all folks that you'll definitely who are vying for stuff like SNL and non-traditional stage things, and it was just very cool to see that, and it's sick that there's 2 more weeks of this. So yeah, every Thursday we'll be out there capturing the new faces for JFL.
Yeah, it's the relaxation of the protocols on things, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, has me excited just because I'm excited for everybody got Just for Laughs, and it's not that that's something that I had in my sights for this year at the moment anyway, but also they're starting to see some shows come back, and my last clip that I recorded was probably over a year and a half ago.
For sure.
I definitely don't like it anymore.
Dude, the pandemic.
I am eager, goddammit. I need to, like I'm seeing shows. I'm like, I've done that show before. I'd love to do that show, but now I'm just like, man, I just need to get out and have some people see me again for a minute, just so I can be like, hey, haha.
Yeah,
dude. I just realized something because I had a thing that I wanted to do some old stuff for because people were recording it and I didn't want to do new material, and I wanted to do my donut bit. And I realized I think the pandemic has killed that bit. Because who the fuck wants to reach into a box of donuts that 30 other people have stuck their hand into right now?
Yeah, everybody's like, office. Who's been in an office, motherfucker?
Yeah, office. Donuts, sharing donuts. What the fuck? I really believe people won't be able to get out of their head. Like, I'm not saying it killed it forever. We'll get back to normal soon enough.
Right.
But
we'll be reaching for donuts soon.
That shit, nobody's reaching for community donuts.
I will tell you. They got a big Bocce's pizza between shows yesterday at Laugh Factory, and everyone was eating from it, and I was apprehensive a little bit, but then again, I was the only asshole at Laugh Factory without a mask on all night. I'm celebrating hard, dude. I know, but it's like everyone's so scared still, and I'm like, let's go, dude.
Here's the thing, though. Like, not just, comics for sure, but everybody is so like people do things all the time in which they are like they make this to do about avoiding a risk in some ways, and then we'll turn around and do some shit that is incredibly risky.
Right.
Like it's all like you know what I mean? Just out of desire, right? They just disregard the fact that
about Tony Hinchcliffe.
Bobby, that's the point. Like every time I get to the point where I'm ready to criticize some shit, like why would you do this? And then I think, well, nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like after a while, I done wore this fucking mask all week. I did all this other shit, and I know if I make one mistake, I'm at risk. But at least I was safe all the rest of this time. I need a moment to be me.
I'll be honest. Like, if it wasn't for the person that I live with, I would have probably taken more risks than I have.
What up, Doc?
But because of that, I don't really have. I have very little in which I feel like I put myself in a situation that was too risky. I think the night I went to Zany's when I didn't have my first shot yet. Did I have my first shot yet by then? I had one shot.
Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't no way you left the crib.
I was one shot deep, and that was I think that was the riskiest thing. I mean, X, you and I have met up and sat in separate cars with masks on.
Sat with our cars.
With our masks on, with like windows open, so open air, cars separate from each other, but still kept our masks on at times. Like that's how little risk I was taking with things. You know what I mean?
That had to be in the summertime.
It's not gonna be no more.
We did that shit in the wintertime a couple times too. Hey, what the fuck I'm gonna do? Get in the car with that nigga? No.
We doing some Chicago Bears high fiving next time we see each other. That's what's going on. We going Willie Galt sweetness high five. You just broke the Russia record type shit is what's happening the next time. That's my OG-ness of the week. That is, I'm bringing back the 87 high fives. That's what I'm bringing back. X, man, what's going on, dude? What's your
first off, before I tell you what my OG moment was, I wanted to point out to somebody watching the show, I got more than one red sweatshirt. Madam commenter who says I wear the same red sweatshirt all the time. That was a personal. I read the comments. I read the fucking comments.
X be out here talking to one person. He's just
well, somebody made a comment on the thing. So anyway,
you and I bought that yesterday, dog.
I did because and it's got the Jewish Space Slayer logo.
Oh yeah,
buyout. So secret Jewish space laser, pow pow pow.
Mazel tough.
Mazel tough. Oh yeah, but my OG moment of the week, I kicked it with you for a quick second. I was in Milwaukee yesterday at Dandy.
Yeah.
Dandy, the show Dandy, which is in the creepiest fucking place in Milwaukee. It is in like an antique resale shop. So like literally the entire shop looks like the opening scene to a movie where a baby comes from the dead and murders people. Like seriously, it's a bunch of old shit. It's a bunch of old like pictures of old white people that for sure are ghosts now. Just like it looks like if I was filming a horror movie and I needed like, oh, we need props to make this place look more scary, I'd shop there. I just fucking splurge at this place. But they have a room in the back where they do comedy. And it's a really, really cool vibe. It felt it had a MTV Unplugged vibe about it. Like they had sofas and shit instead of just regular chairs and love seats, and it was dope.
If you didn't, Danny's one of those places where you walk in, if you're black, like you walk in, you go. If you didn't recognize like a comic that you knew right away or something like that, you walked in, you'd be like, oh, I'm definitely gonna get. Somebody's gonna fuck me over here.
This is the second time
I walked to the wrong goddamn place. I gotta get out of here.
It's the second time I performed there, and when I walked in, I was like, "Oh shit, I came into the wrong place." And it's the second time there. Also, the other thing about that place that even though I love the guys, Matt, Greg, Carly, and the other young lady whose name I'm sorry I'm blanking on. I love you guys. I love Milwaukee comedy. But
Roxanne?
You tell every fucking person that comes to that show that there's a police station a block away from the fucking place. There's a full-on big-ass police station loaded with cops that's just waiting to see my ass drive by smoking weed going, oh, shit. But it was a great show. It was a fun show. That was it was super, super dope. I don't remember the name of I'm fucking rude as shit, man. I will shout these comics out at another time, but the three dudes that opened for me were all hilarious. I'd never worked with any of them. And that, I mean, anybody who you doing independent shows as a stand-up comic, having people that open for you that everybody was hot, everybody killed. That doesn't happen a lot. That doesn't happen all the time. So really well booked shows that happens. And that's what I had last night.
You had Daryl Cochran and Ben Meyer, right?
Daryl Cochran, Ben Meyer, and there was another young gentleman. I guess he was doing a guestie, so he might not be listed. But thank you for the look up.
Then Carly Mallison was the host. She's great.
Carly Mallison was the host.
Funny.
She set the page, but those two dudes you named both rocked it, man. Like,
that's dope, man.
Like I literally, Rob.
You told me when I saw you that you afterwards that you were that you had a good time. That you really had a good time there.
Dude, Rob, that feeling you get where the motherfucker, where I have a little fun on stage, and you be thinking, this nigga think he did something. Let me show you. You know how you,
I swear to God, man, I had that
feeling. I had that.
Let me tell you, man, this dude right here was dumping on me. Like he was like, dude, it's been a little while since you seen me, and he crossing me over and shit. And I'm looking at the stage like, this nigga killing these people, right? So then I was like, and so then I just went on ahead. I was like, okay, let me concentrate.
Right.
Because sometimes I don't think, I just be talking. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm on autopilot. I'm like, oh, I got to pay attention to the audience. Now this nigga has done something.
Yeah, but just so everybody knows that we talking about different levels and shit. I tell the story all the time to everybody about how funny this motherfucker is. I just had a really great set. I was literally strutting off stage. When I dapped him when we crossed, I looked at the nigga like Michael B. Jordan looked at T'Challa like, what up? Because, nigga, I'm taking over. And before I made it to the green room, the audience had forgot that I had fucking said a word because this nigga had them rolling already. I didn't even turn around. I got to the green room. They were laughing so hard. My toe chest just sunk. I was like,
see, as a nigga who's used to losing, I have found my best stance to take, even when I feel like I'm murdered, is to always be like, I'm about to get blown the fuck out. Because then I can, because then even if it's good, but it's not crazy, I can be like, well, it's not worse than what I thought it might have been. A win's a win. You know what I mean? Like, we'll take wins.
Make it to the green room, Bobby.
Hey, man.
My pride didn't make it to the green room.
How's your world, Rob? What's going on with you, man?
Oh, my God. It's been so crazy. You guys have led me to so many old school moments that I just do not know where to start. But based on what you just said, there was a time, all of this shit kind of connects. There was a time in comedy where Black people and white people didn't really hang out. It was very segregated in stand-up. And there were clubs that helped to keep it that way. Well, all of those places are gone. The people who used to run them, everything that had to do with them are gone. So now I'm getting to see people, and this is what leads to my old school moment of this portion of it, is that now when I listen to you guys talk about the people that you know in the city of Chicago, because I used to know everybody who did comedy. Anybody who did more than 2 or 3 shows, I knew them because I was out there every night on my grind, right? So I knew this landscape. I don't know it anymore. I haven't been there since 2012. And so when I hear you guys talk about these names, and I know they're not all Black people, and I know that there's Black people immersed in them because most of them are white people. But what I'm finding interesting is when we get together, the whole level of thought gets higher. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so the jokes that we used to think were acceptable and cool and good, we have cut all the fat off of. And I'm looking at comics who have the seasoning of people who have had 5 years in the game in 2 or 3. And this is what I'm saying. Like, our people make things better. I'm saying, like, I'm not trying to downgrade nothing that nobody else is doing. But until you actually have seen Marilee, you do not understand what true performance is like. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of people can do a lot of shit, but when you see that, you look at her, you're like, God damn.
Hey, I got good news to tell you, man. You know, you coming to Chicago, coming to my club. Comedy's trying to do a show July 3rd.
Hell yeah.
I mean, not July 3rd, July 1st. You July 1st, Rob Hines. Guess who's opening for you? You just said her name.
Oh my God, man, dude. She gonna make the show better. Like, if just for no other reason, I know I have to pay more attention because when that young lady leaves the stage, there's not much left.
There you go.
Yeah. It is it's been a it's interesting talking about the how diversity is making comedy better, and like including women too. Like the involvement of women has made things, the jokes that everybody are telling have gotten better and stronger, and that advancement is happening as we've gotten more diverse. And it's funny because I've talked about before the migration of comics to Austin and Nashville, and I've jokingly said, who's not moving there? Niggas. Like, niggas ain't moving to Austin, niggas ain't moving to Nashville. Like, that is not where we are going to.
They only gonna get the ones they got.
Right? Yeah, whatever. If y'all there, you there. But there's not, people ain't going. We ain't going, okay? We ain't. There's no impetus to move to Texas. That's not what's happening. Not there. Not there for sure. But like, and one of the examples of that came this week. Tony Hinchcliffe, who's a comic who, I don't know if he's still living in LA or if he's now in Austin now. If he's in Austin now with Rogan and everybody. So the whole like people that want to be edgelords move to Austin. and he was one of them. And he was brought up to stage at some club, and decided that the way he wanted to handle that was by going off on the Asian guy who opened for him. Peng Dang was the comic who was up ahead of him. I think think of the shittiest, most basic racist insults against Asians that you've heard somebody say, and that's pretty much what he went on for about 35 seconds. It was real Michael Richardsy,
wow.
which is
that's weird. That is. So I wonder, in that moment, did he think this shit is really, really funny? Was he bitter, angry about some shit? Did dude do something to him that he was angry and maybe was out of his normal zone, or did he think that's just his normal shtick, right? To be
edgy is his normal shtick, right? Like being edgy is his thing. He's a little Jeselnecky in his approach, but not as funny though.
Yeah, but that's why Jeselnik is a fucking artist, because he goes right. That motherfucker slices it as thin as it can be sliced.
Well, there's a thing with Jeselnik where you can tell that he's writing the jokes, but it's not necessarily who he is, right? Like he's writing the jokes because he knows you're gonna laugh at it, but it's not necessarily the deal. And with Hinchcliffe, some of the shit he says is just mean. There was no comedy behind the lines that he said. There was no setup. There was no punchline. It was just hey, slur, slurry, slur. And here's the thing, he's not going to be first of all, I'm not going to say the whole idea of is he going to get canceled? That's just not going to, nobody gets canceled. Gina Carano is going to be back on TV in a week. She's got a new show. She's going to be on TV in a minute, right? She's teamed up with Ben Shapiro. Nobody gets canceled unless they put you in jail. You're not canceled, right? Everybody's got an audience. Because you got an audience. The thing is, whoever is shunning you, there's a group of people that are also a shunned people, and some of them people got money. So
pedophiles have fans.
All them people got networks. You know what I mean? Everybody who sucks has a network, and everybody you think is dope has a network. So ain't nobody getting canceled from nothing. So he's gonna be just fine. But I think this adoration of, or this thing where we have decided that there's this version of comedy which is fine if you're into it, but the idea that it deserves as much respect just because it's free speech is weird to me. You know what I mean? It's not impressive to me. That is I don't get why doing the weakest version of comedy is we don't respect
calling that shit comedy. Name calling isn't comedy.
Yeah, it's just we don't respect shitty versions of the art, right? We just it's generic. It's all the versions of comedy is what.
Yeah, there's a difference between roasting somebody and just name calling. There's a huge gap, and if you're just up there dropping expletives and slurs, there's nothing in that. There's no, there's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? At least if you're gonna be racist, be clever.
The other thing is it's interesting to see this flight of white comics who will give you these reasons about taxes and homeless and all these other reasons of why they're moving to different places. But the real reason is because they found out they got to respect niggas and women now. That's all that's happened is that sorry, you just can't shit on trans people in your comedy, straight white dude. You know what I mean? Go find some, that's the shit that they're leaving for. They're leaving because they want to be somewhere where they can do shit like that and nothing really happens to them. Right? I
understand where this is coming from. I'm a little uncomfortable with it. And I'm gonna tell you why. I have always tried to be fair. I no longer try to be fair anymore. I do what's best for me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm getting tired. I've done this for a long time, and it's time for me to do what's best for me. And in saying that, I want those guys out there. I want to know where they are, and I want to see the people that they draw. You understand?
Yeah,
this
for sure.
lets me know where not to go.
Right.
So I don't even care to even say whether it's comedy or not comedy or what, like, because like for me, it's like that argument like when we used to watch wrestling and motherfuckers be like, "Oh, he's a scientific wrestler." It's all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I
James,
think all this shit is bullshit. And so for me, I'm just thinking like, let me see how I can outshine these horrible motherfuckers. Let me see how much I can make the people that he thinks hate me love me more. You understand? Because I know the one thing I know about myself is that it is not unpleasant to be around me. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need that guy, working to help me with that. But I'm not calling for anybody to not get to do whatever the fuck. If somebody wants to pay you to do it, hey man, unless you need to be in jail on some charges, you know what I mean? Like, what we learned is that Tony may not be an awesome dude, right? Like,
hey, I'm sorry. This is a little like breaking the fourth wall behind the scenes stuff, but James, can you timestamp the part where he says it's not unpleasant to be around me and then takes a big drink? That is going to be an ad.
For sure.
That's going to be a commercial for us later. I need to keep that.
Gotcha.
Edited later. Yeah, man. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if somebody has an audience, they have an audience. I don't want to hear somebody up there doing bullshit like that. But if there's a group of people, if there's a place that wants to book them, and a group of people that want to go see them, I feel like what Rob said, like, good. Let's so I know, okay, that's where that guy plays. Okay, I guess.
Well, that's why when I talk about like niggas ain't moving. That's when I say like niggas ain't moving to Nashville or Austin. It's like what I'm saying is like look
I like
at where.
Nashville, but yeah, I see what you're saying though. But I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like you saw it happen at that Kid Rock joint where homeboy pulled off his colostomy bag and started swinging it around.
He did it twice. It was the second time he did it.
Like
they only made the news the second time. The first time there wasn't a news story. How?
Like I'm not going there. You know what I mean? Like I could skip it. It'd be okay if I wasn't there. Cause it's like,
wait, time out, man. Let me ask you this real quick, dog. I thought I saw that somewhere. I'm like, I know this ain't what I'm seeing, so I'm gonna change the channel. You know what I mean? So I didn't want my thoughts to wrap around that. But now that you brought it up, time out 20 seconds, real quick. What is this lesser degree of thought that loves shit? What is it? Like when they went into the Capitol, you motherfuckers have taken over the leader of what is called freedom in the Western world. You own it for this 1 second. And the only thing you could think to do was smear shit on the wall? Like, what is with these people and shit?
Everything about the smear shit was counterintuitive because if it's a revolution and you're trying to take over, let's just say they were successful.
You got to clean up.
They had to clean up the shit. If you were successful, they were the ones that had to clean up the shit. Why would you do that? That makes zero fucking sense.
Hey, we're gonna buy this house. I'm just gonna take a dump in the corner real quick.
Like, I mean, James, you are more well versed in this shit. Is there like, were they gonna burn the
Revolution
Capitol
or what?
Taking shits in places I shouldn't?
No, QAnon philosophy and shit. Like, were they going to burn the Capitol and build a new one or something? Because I don't understand.
Glad you're pinning all that on me. I don't actually know.
You have been down the rabbit hole way further than me.
I have, yes. I think what the plan was that there was no plan. It was just a bunch of rabid animals attacking a building.
That seems
and
closer.
Shitting on things.
And so also, I think low key, maybe guys with shit fetishes, like they just like. Maybe they just are drawn to these type of things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what it is.
Hey guys, again, I got to break in again.
Time
out. I'm sorry. I got to break in again. Let me just get this off real quick.
Okay.
You guys have never been in the military, but in every force, in every army, in every degree of a group of people going out to kill people, you got to have a lot of stupid people. You understand what I'm saying? You got to have people who are willing to do shit no matter what. So you got to, even if they're smart enough not to, you got to get them in the mindset to be. So what you are saying, Jay Webb, I can't give it a lot of credence because every time you getting ready to go do some chaotic shit, you need people who can handle chaos. And so that's what happened. There was some people who were there stupid and bad, and, you know, all that other shit. But there was some motherfuckers with military training.
Sure.
And they knew what they was doing. Like, I'm gonna have some people create this bullshit, and I'm going in to get what I.
So one of the things that we're going to talk about this in a minute too. There was definitely like the Oath Keeper. There were some Oath Keepers that were there that definitely had a real plan. That's what they're going to be getting into with some of this new commission stuff they started. Fortunately, they'll probably get to all meet in person because the CDC has lowered mask restrictions for the vaccinated. So if you're a vaccinated person now, you can feel free to just breathe out in the open with everybody and tongue kiss in closed doors. You can go back to playing 7 Minutes in Heaven with people now, I guess is the rule.
But now you don't want to because you done seen them all naked on Twitter.
I'm very happy. Like, I feel good about it because I know I have a good group of swinger friends because they lowered the CDC vaccination rules and I haven't gotten a party request yet. So I know they're still being cautious, which means they're good, healthy people. You know what I mean? Like, when you got swinger friends, you got to trust that they're like trying to be careful and clean and safe. And so like, it's nice. Like, I know there's some people who've been fucking all through the pandemic doing swinger shit. For sure down in Tampa, those people just...
Has anybody made that movie yet, fucking through the pandemic?
I am excited. I'm still going to be a little cautious with a couple of things, but like, hey man, you know, I had a new cable guy in here yesterday, or fiber guy or whatever the hell it was in here yesterday, and I was like, "You vaccinated?" And he's like, "Yep." And I'm like, "I'm vaccinated." And I'm like, he's like, "I gotta be vaccinated to be able to do this." So like, I'm vaccinated. And I was like, "Bet, mask off, baby. We mask on." You feel it? I feel it, brother. We all good. Like,
it's such a weird thing, man. Because I like almost wanted to stunt in the grocery store today, and just like I wanted to have like, you know, those movies, like a musical or something. I just like right in the checkout aisle, just wanted to rip the mask off and be like, "We are free people. We are free." You'd have
been on TikTok before the afternoon was over. You'd have been on TikTok.
They would have been like a giant black QAnon guy. Like, I'm not QAnon. I was talking about the vaccine.
And you got on a red shirt with a little badge on it. Yep.
Yeah. You got the Jewish space laser shirt on. They'd be like, "This guy's all into conspiracy theories."
Oh yeah! Oh my god! That 100% is what would have happened. Holy shit!
It is going to cause some. I mean, it's already causing some confusion because, you know, the question now is, there are people that believe that by doing this, it will encourage more people to get vaccinated. But obviously, there's going to be some good Christian folks who were scared of the vaccine who are now going to lie like good Christians about being vaccinated because they're good Christians. And I say that because a lot of these people who are anti-vax, people who think this whole thing is a hoax, are real into evangelical shit. But they'll also lie to you about being vaccinated so they don't have to wear a mask because that is oppression to them.
I asked the audience last night who was vaccinated. The entire audience applauded except for one person. And they were sitting dead center. And they had their mask on.
Right in the middle of it all.
Yeah, they were sitting dead center, but they had their mask on. And now that I think about it, they looked kind of Typhoid Mary-esque. But
great.
But no, just fucking around. But yeah, but they didn't applaud, and I was like, "Hey, shout out to you for being honest. Honest people love shout outs.
Honest people do love shout outs. That's the only type of applause they should get though. Then they should be immediately thrown out.
I don't know that person's situation.
Security. Yeah. There could be a health situation which they get, and that is the other concern, right? Is that because
they were wearing the mask and shit, so they clearly believed in the shit.
They took precautions, right? Yeah. They took some precautions, which is cool. Ohio is trying to get people to get vaccinated. Their governor is offering $1 million a week over the course of 5 weeks, being pulled basically like a lottery for people who can show their vaccination. So if you show you got vaccinated, you're going to do 5 drawings once a week for 5 weeks.
I don't know if
$1 million every time.
I have no idea if there's a way that they could do this. But they should purposely pick the first 3 people they pick should be people who aren't vaccinated, and
make them lose.
Yeah, make them lose just so people could be like, "Damn, oh you damn fool!" Because that'll make somebody be like, "Oh shit," like that. Because I mean, I'm being cynical. I'm a writer. I think about how to fix shit.
How would you get in a drawing? How would you get into it if you hadn't been vaccinated?
I think it's. Oh yeah, see, I don't know. The way they made it sound like it was random.
I don't know what it was like when you got vaccinated, but they had my name on a computer, and they uploaded my information, and then once they had my information, they gave me the card. But they wouldn't have gave me the card if I hadn't given my ID. And
I set my appointment online, so that's how my shit got set up.
I got vaccinated in a trailer park behind a carnival. There was no.
Are you sure there's a vaccination? Are you sure?
I
may
fell
have just gotten some
right
goo-goo
away.
juice.
Yeah, we're gonna see some porn. We're gonna see some X porn.
I now have nipple piercings. I don't know what happened. It was a weird afternoon. It's been very exciting. No, but like here's the thing: there's only 7 million people in Ohio, so that's you got a 5 in 7 million chance, right? Like that's or one in whatever that reduction fraction is. It's better odds than the lottery for sure. People spent almost $4 billion on the lottery in Ohio last year. So,
one in 1.4 million. Sorry,
it is.
I've been doing weed. I'm smoking weed. I'm slow.
That's fine. That's why I put it out there. I knew you'd answer that for me. We took long enough. You know what I mean? Just wait. X will get there.
I think I was watching the news last night. I watched way too much of that shit because it depresses me. So I gotta let that shit go. I mean,
I'm trying to get depressed, so I watch the news all the time.
Yeah, it's just too much information that's bad. So I'm gonna have to stop looking at shit. Even though I want to be informed, I just don't want to hear it. So I gotta figure out my little Rachel Maddow block, and then that's it. I ain't watching the rest of the shit. The thing that I was trying to get to, I've since lost because this is some good bud out here in LA, baby. I've treated myself really well this week and bought some very expensive bud, and it still kicked in. And whatever the rhythm is taking. I
would say this: we are in very different spaces, and I'm gonna help you get to the space where I'm at, my brother. Cause you know how much I watch Rachel Maddow. I talk about her on the show all the goddamn time. I have not watched Rachel. I watched Rachel once this week. I have 3 Rachel Maddows saved on the DVR of my system, and I might watch the motherfuckers. I might not. I don't give a fuck about the news anymore. I look up the stories for this show. Once I got vaccinated and now they just said I could take my motherfucking mask off. I give a fuck. Like Joe is keeping shit nice and boring. He's sending out checks. They're paving roads. Like shit's on cruise control. Like he's backhanding Russia left and right. Be good.
Well, I do like your approach to it, X. I wish I could have the same. There is a little bit of a gas shortage that's going on. It's going to be ended here soon. The Colonial Pipeline got hacked. It is a major pipeline that feeds a lot of the East Coast. Even though they only hacked the IT network, they shut down the whole pipeline. And then once that hit the news that there were going to be some gas shortages went out there. And then a bunch of morons decided they were going to start filling up bags of like grocery bags with gas, which, by the way, like gas is a solvent, which means that those grocery bags are only going to contain that gas for so long. I have seen at least 3 pictures of cars that were on fire or being towed away after being on fire from people who put gas in containers that could not hold them. And the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, actually had to go on television and tell people, please do not put gas in bags. Please do not put. I mean, how have we not been taken over by someone? Are we not? Do we not belong to somebody right now?
There were people putting. Like, here's the thing. I know that the Republican Party has all the guns, but I'm not afraid of them because they are incredibly stupid. There were people like this is all South. This is the South. You would never see that in the Northeast. People would hoard gas, but they'd literally have like gas containers and shit. They'd rent a tanker. They would not have paper. They would not have bags. They would not just be pouring gas into tubs. Wouldn't even cross. When I saw somebody doing it, I saw the video. I had to read the caption because I didn't understand what was happening. Because in my mind, I was like, it looks like they're pouring gas into that, but that couldn't possibly be what I'm seeing because nobody would be that stupid.
Apparently, the Colonial Pipeline paid a $5 million ransom.
Yeah.
That's
Southerners.
Two things. I think that one part of this is that the people with all the gas in the bags and shit, they was gonna take it back and burn all the shit in their yard because them people been playing with shit all.
It's the same shit playing. It's the same shit playing people, right? It's the same people that play with shit.
Yeah. So they didn't really need the bag to hold for that long. But the other thing is, maybe it's just me, but did anybody else think I'm glad the Colonial Pipeline took a dick?
The Colonial Pipeline got piped. Colonial got piped. Yeah, that's hey, Russia, that was a shout out to black people. Thank you.
I was thinking like, why would you keep this name? You're asking to be robbed.
Please hack us. The Please Hack Us pipeline is what they've changed the name of it to. They're going to adjust that. The weird thing about it is that there's been so what I'm seeing from a lot from Republicans is they're trying to make Biden look like Jimmy Carter. That's what this gas thing is being blamed on him. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden. There's nothing about what happened that has to do with Joe Biden, but I see memes with, gas pumps in the background and Joe Biden on it with Trader Joe on his shirt. And it's like,
because
this is not
some socialist shit.
Yeah. Gas prices going up. It's the president's fault. This thing ain't got shit to do with this pipeline getting hacked. He's not, this is not his thing, y'all.
Truth be told, it's more their fault than it is his. The people who think the way that they do. You know what I mean? The people who would name a pipeline Colonial. You should be uncomfortable.
Or the people who voted for the motherfucker that let the United States be hacked for 9 months before we fucking found out about it, who clearly there's no. It bothers me that the SolarWinds hack isn't more news. Like a whole fucking pipeline was shut down for 5 days or whatever. Clearly, there's a connection. Like it cannot be a coincidence that they were hacked. That 18,000 companies were hacked last year, and they supposedly just took data, but they were in the systems of all those companies for 9 months. There's no time.
DarkSide is the company that hacked the pipeline, and they're claiming to be apolitical and that their goal is to get money and not to necessarily cause problems. But when you hack a pipeline, I mean, you're causing.
Yeah. I mean,
intent doesn't matter when it comes to harm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get, but if they're environmentalists, they're going after that. I don't know. Go after Exxon if you're going after somebody. I don't know why the fuck they're going after Colonial unless there's some black dudes in Russia and they're on the same thing with the Colonial. I have no idea.
I think the real issue that we deal with here is that
$5 million seems like a cheap rent. Maybe that's just they knew they'd be easy to pay.
The two main parties here are both push this idea that capitalism is okay, but the Republican side really pushes this idea of capitalism is okay and it should be unfettered and unstopped and just be let to run amok, and those who will be fine. But the rich end up keeping writing the rules to maintain that for them. And Democrats are like, capitalism is great, but the only way we can keep these people of color voting for us is to let a couple of them in to run some shit and to create some programs that might help a couple of them get to join the ranks. But even to join the ranks, you got to be down with the program that capitalism is the shit, right? Even largely Democrats who are people of color or of a different relationship orientation or gender, whatever. You got to buy into the idea that capitalism is the basis, and that's where a lot of the argument comes from.
If you're anti-capitalism, that's almost a non-starter.
But the Republicans do their goal is in trying to make that democratic idea look like a slide into socialism, and they push it all the time, and now people are paying for it because Liz Cheney got voted out of the leadership spot because she is anti-Trump and is vocal about it and has continued to be vocal about it. She is big on the fact that January 6th was a real thing, and that the fact that Trump was involved in that, he shouldn't be running shit anymore. And
involved in it, incited it.
She'll be with the Lincoln Project in 2 weeks, I bet.
I saw
she was with the Lincoln Project 3 months ago.
Right.
I saw an article saying something to the effect of the media is obsessed with the 5 Republicans that don't like Donald Trump, and I felt it took a vibe towards like it was a negative thing that they were obsessed with these 5 Republicans. And I think it is exactly the right thing to be obsessed with those 5 Republicans, solely because those 5 people are either going to start a new political party that will finally give America a third party of some sort. Because I think if they did start a new party, even though that sounds like a great thing for us as the Republicans split, I think we'd lose a lot of Democrats. I could see her getting a lot of right-leaning Democrats on board with a candidate. I don't like anything Liz Cheney stands for, and I like watching her speak as a political, as a politician, I know that she has game. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to put it. I hate to trade this.
Yeah.
But the team would been
it's like watching Brett Favre play, where you're like,
yeah,
he's good.
So Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Yeah, oh God, he's so fucking good. But I respect her for. I don't like anything. I don't agree with anything she does, but she's good at what she does, and she stands with a steel reserve in her position that that shit happened on January 6th, and that motherfucker did it, and he shouldn't have anything to do with it. And there's no falter in her voice. She has more backbone than anybody I've seen on either side of the aisle, probably other than maybe Pelosi.
What are you guys say, Rob?
I think that what you're saying is a branch off of a deeper tree, or to the root cause of it. And the thing that she continued to say, and that they continue to process, it's not that there's just 5 of them, or that people are obsessed with that 5. It's what they are trying to defend. And what they are trying to defend is what America calls democracy. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that it ain't bullshitting. I'm not saying it ain't all hot garbage. But in a time where information can move across the world in seconds, you cannot openly do the shit that you used to be able to do when you had a dude that you knew writing down what happened. You see what I'm saying? People can see now for themselves. And they've been in the house for a year, and they are not happy with how they had to live when they had to sit where they had to be every fucking day. When you realize I give a lot to the system and this is all I got, fuck that. Something has to change. And that is what the difference is. And this is why I keep telling y'all, this is the big deal. As much and as cynical as I am, when I get around y'all in Chicago, I'm like, shit, these motherfuckers better start worrying. Because Black people, white people, Asian people, people of all stripes have gotten together and they like each other. And that's exactly what conservatives have been trying to avoid since the 60s.
Yeah, they tie that all together. They tie in the concept of the way they try and maintain capitalism and the way they try and show the concerns of socialism is they point at anything outside of the traditional order as being something that requires a lean into socialism, right? Like I was on a podcast last week where I was talking about polyamory, and I was like, one of the issues with the acceptance of it is actually a financial piece, because when you're talking about health insurance that is going to be paid for by either a job and you have a triad, or you have 2 couples that want to marry each other and they're all going to be married. Like when you're talking about dependents, now you have 3 adults that are, you know what I mean? Like there are financial issues that come with accepting things outside of what they've considered to be traditional American concepts. And being able to give rights to immigrants or to poor people, or those all conflict with the ideas of capitalism, the way they want to see it done. And they are okay with that happening, which is a problem. And they will continue. Like, again, you know, Rob, you bring this up oftentimes. And the next thing I want to bring up is exactly one of the things that we've talked about a number of times on here, is that they've prepared the January 6th commission. They figured out who's all going to be involved in that whole deal. There are now I don't think so. Let's see. Let me find the January 6th commission. I doubt that's going to be the case.
Kinzinger. I was hoping those were 2 Republicans.
No, it's an independent. They're going with an independent commission, which is important. But Republicans are already denying that the insurrection even happened. Like Republicans in Congress are already, Paul Gosar and this dude Clyde down in Georgia, trying to say that it was like, it looked like any other tourist day.
Yeah.
Like,
but like,
this has happened before. This has happened before. New Orleans, North Carolina. This is the same shit over and over again.
Dude, like, this is why when when I was a kid, I remember I learned about Elie Wiesel and the phrase that if you don't know who Elie Wiesel is, look up, Google it. He's a Holocaust survivor, and the phrase that he's most known for, I believe, is he's the person who coined the phrase "never forget" about the Holocaust. And he's a poet. He has many great writings about his experiences, and he's a great man. But I didn't understand "never forget" when I was a kid, because I was like, I could wrap my mind around the concept that anybody ever would forget, because how could you forget something so horrific? So and I know I've seen people who are Holocaust deniers. So to see what's happening right now with January 6th, which is obviously not on the same scale, obviously to a much lower degree, to see them working so quickly, it's just how fast information, as Rob was saying earlier, how fast information moves. They are already to start doing the spin, and there's going to be a whole universe of people who believe that January 6th wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, and there are going to be people who are denying that the footage of people climbing all over, they're going to start saying it was CGI. They're going to start saying that that's not the real footage. They're going to only see the footage of people going through the lines. I'm telling you, that's because that's what they did already with Trump, and they're just going to create their own universe.
Bro, we're 80s babies, man. We lived through Reagan, and we had to sit through these motherfuckers talking about how great of President Reagan was. During the Obama administration, going into Trump, everybody was talking about, well, they need to find somebody who brings back Reaganism. Nigga, I was alive during Reaganism. That shit was not for us. That was not. We are a forgotten generation almost entirely because of Reaganism, right? Like, as Gen Xers, one of the things that halted our ability to strive was Reaganism. Trickle-down economics and the war on cocaine and crack cocaine and shit like that decimated our generation. And so the idea that,
you know how condescending trickle down economics is, in the title of itself, trickle.
Yeah.
Not
like, water down, not pour down, not waterfall economics.
Rain down economics, trickle. We go
avalanche economics. That's what I'm looking for.
Where the fuck is that at? You know, where's flood zone economics? You know, like, where the fuck is that? Trickle.
So when I was a child, I'm a little bit older than y'all, and I've always been in politics. My dad used to make us listen to news radio in the car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm steeped in this. When I was 10 years old is when Reagan got in office, and I remember the palpable disappointment in the Black community. I mean, people were beat the fuck down. It was so bad. I was in the fourth grade, and I remember distinctly sitting there, and I remember the teacher not really caring much for me. I didn't know why, right? But I just remember, like, because everybody else dug me. I had a little fro, looked like Rodney Allen Rippey. I was the greatest. And
man, y'all Google Rodney Allen Rippey, so this joke is funny.
Yeah. All you youngsters, if you're younger than 44 or some shit, you might.
That's an old ass reference,
nigga. That reference is old.
That's a generation before you, nigga.
That reference is old to me. I gotta Google.
Rob dropped some from the silent generation in his references. That's him.
And I was sitting there in the classroom, and I remember where I was sitting. I was the third person from the top. This is how vivid this is to me. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to her, and she was like, "What do you guys think about Ronald Reagan going to be the new president?" And kids were saying things like, "We're gonna stop having food stamps. They're gonna do this to us. They're gonna do that to us." And when she got to me, I'm like, I couldn't relate to any of that, right? And so when she got to me, I was like, well, I don't like the fact that he's not for the Equal Rights Amendment. At 10 years old, I said this. And this lady looked at me like, "You little bitch." And she walked away from me with such great disgust. And I was like, I wonder why she hate me so much.
My dad was upwardly mobile at the time and married to a white woman, and so he actually voted for Reagan the first time. Because
I
he
see
was.
it. There was
that was at the time my dad had, tailor-made suits with his name on the inside, and the sheet like my dad was hot shit for a minute there before before Reaganomics actually hit him, right? Like when he thought it was gonna be dope and he was on the upswing, he was like, yeah, Reagan. And then Reaganomics came and he was like, oh, this was not I didn't mean to be caught up in this version of Reaganomics. I got the wrong end of it. Oh, I got treated like the black guy in Reaganomics. This was not for me.
Yes, and then they bring the drugs into your community.
Well, that's what happened.
They need to build someplace else that they're afraid communism might happen.
That was actually a segment of the pilot of Reagan's base, blacks that were that old. I think they were layovers from the old Black Republican Party before of the 60s, before the Civil Rights Movement, 50s and 60s before the Civil Rights Movement. And he converted some that had voted for the Democrats with Carter and shit like that. He had a decent black segment the first round. I don't think so. The second round, we have Walter Mondale.
Yeah.
We have
the
Walter
thing,
Mondale.
I mean, and the thing that's important to what my point, I guess, behind all this is that you don't have to go there's still a somewhat youngish generation still alive who can tell you about how quickly they will deny the realities of what happened. And so that is why this commission to go after these motherfuckers for January 6th and the importance of getting these people and even going after the senators is
documented.
Vital.
Not just getting it documented for the ages. This is what happened.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's important. There's a great mini series called the Looming Tower. Daniels. It's about 9/11, and they have actual footage from hearings, the real hearings, and a lot of actually reading from transcripts and stuff of what actually happened. And then there's a dramatic part that's being acted out and kind of goes back and forth really, really well. And there needs to be something like that where I hope the commission is as strong as the 9/11 commission was, where we have
that's what they're talking about. They're talking about that being the case.
All this information laid out because the narrative that it was random. I know that a lot of people there were a lot of people there who were idiots and along for the ride, but I'm not concerned about them. I'm concerned about the group of people who helped plot it, plan it,
of course,
and who had an agenda.
Yeah,
because those people are problematic because who knows what information they still have right now. America has a bunch of different wounds from the Trump administration that aren't just related to this asshole tweeting stuff.
Of course.
And
I mean, we're dealing with one right now. I mean, there's a situation going on with Israel and Palestine at the moment that still has ties that are, stuck with what's going on. I mean, again, we're at this point where the differentiation between left and right in this country is being put on trial through the issues that are going on somewhere else because we rightfully helped the nation start to get on its feet at a time when they needed some help. But that nation has since become, an oppressor where it was once oppressed when it wasn't a nation.
I didn't even think of this. Is there a chance that I'm sorry, I'm losing it. What's the prime minister of Israel's name right now?
Oh, Netanyahu?
He's a huge Trump dude.
He's a total right winger guy.
He's specifically a Trump dude. He named a housing thing after him in Israel and shit like that.
That side of the party is heavy.
Is there any chance that this skirmish, because from the reports that I've read, the Israeli side started this shit. And
I mean, it's been the Israelis starting this shit.
It's been. You're right. Yeah, you're right. I saw, dude. Trevor Noah broke down something that I've felt about this situation. I converted to Judaism, so obviously, if there's a side I'm picking, I've obviously picked a side in this. But also, I understand.
Well, you grew up Muslim.
I grew up Muslim, but you can see this. You could be an objective bystander and see that one side has a military and the other side is throwing rocks. And maybe the side that's throwing rocks that occasionally gets a punch in here and there, maybe there's a better way to deal with them than fucking taking out hundreds and hundreds of people every time a handful of people do something after you start some shit.
The other thing is the people who just have the rocks. I mean, they've got rockets, but like they were there already.
Yeah.
They were there. The shit is theirs. Israel has just decided we're taking this shit. And every time they report on this stuff, they act like this was two people who showed up at the location at the same time and have been bickering over it, and that the fight is even, that they've got the same. But every time they talk about what happens, they go, Palestinians fired a bunch of rockets. They fired 30 rockets or whatever. And then they talk about how many people Israel killed, as if rockets and people are the same thing. And Israel's got this Iron Dome thing that basically stops like 95% of the shit that gets blasted at. So like none of them rockets are hurting nobody, but for sure 30 dead is 30 dead, right? Like that's, they are forcefully taking land. It's an apartheid state. I saw a map the other day that shows roads that you can drive on and can't drive on if you're Palestinian. In the air, like throughout there are certain roads that you are not allowed to drive on if you're Palestinian. And so as a Black American, what I mean? Like, I look at that shit and I'm like, there's no, like, I'm not I have Jewish in me. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that Jews should be able to survive just fine, but I don't see what that has to do with trying to go in here and take these people's place. Like,
we're talking about expanding the amount of they're taking more stuff as we speak.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's what I see. Just like here in America, just like anywhere, there's going to be a group of people who are bright enough and smart enough to understand what's really happening, and they're not going to want no part of it. And it's Jewish people who feel the same way that we do, but they're not that loud because that's not who they are. They just let shit happen. They just want you to know, even if they tell you, yeah, this is fucked up, they're not going to do much else, right? But the ones who want to take and need and grab, and they are very loud, they are very vocal, and they take action. And so, to me, it's like screaming at the wind until we decide that, man. But here's the beauty of it all. Again, the information goes out. Everybody knows everything, and you can mold yourself to believe one thing. But and because everybody has everything, then you could rebut everything that you see. So when people rebut, it's gonna be stupid people who got the capability of rebutting. And you just gotta let that shit be in the ether.
I understand Israel's position. They are surrounded by countries that literally hate them. Iran doesn't even recognize them as existing. And literally, I think in Iran has some, I can't remember what it's in it's something basically that they want to annihilate the state of Israel. So
that's bad. That has everything to do with going after Palestine.
I know. No. I'm saying like that, but it's one of those things. It's almost, I hate to compare this because I feel like I minimize it, but it's almost like one of those things like when a police officer says, it's a very tough job. It's like the first response they say that supposedly makes everything else that they do okay. Well, no, just because of that, it's not okay, because what I don't understand is how Jewish people do not see that they are treating Palestine the same way Jews have been historically treated, and the reason why we had to have a home state, and reason why we have to have the relationship we have with the United States.
I will tell you why Israel has to have their. I will tell you why that is. It's an addiction to religion. The core of these issues comes back to the same thing. The idea that there is an entire state of anything or entire country of anything anywhere that is of a singular religion creates a problematic situation for everyone everywhere.
Well,
and that is not to tell people
religion and a
I understand. Well. I understand, but the Jews. If you're a Jewish person in Israel right now, you're Jewish of faith as well. There's no atheist Jews over there being atheist. You know what I mean? Like if you trying to go live in Israel and you Jewish, you're doing that because you try to do the religion part, right?
Yeah, so ain't no Christian Jews ain't causing trouble.
And so any country that is only one religion, be that all Christians, any country that only allows for one religion, creates a problem for people everywhere, because all these other places got people of mixed religions and finding ways to get along. And you find yourself in conflict because of a thing that not everybody even agrees is real, right? which is different than an argument over natural resources, an argument over, you know what I mean? Like actual tangible things that we can all agree on.
You can count that up and decide, okay, this is yours, be it fair or whatever. At least you can put a number to it.
And so that's my issue with that whole process. And I don't know I have no solution for that, right? There's no way there's no like, just because I feel that way doesn't mean I can go and sit in front of somebody and be like, here's my TED talk. And everybody's gonna be like, all right, got it. We're going to switch it all up. Like, that's not going to happen. But like, it is not surprising to me, right? It's like, yeah, of course, when you got some people that have a whole country that's just like, yeah, we all believe that space dude works this way, and everybody's like, well, we kill everybody who feels that way. Well, obviously there's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't got nobody in the place that believes any differently. You have anything? No, we kill all them people and push them out. Well, then for sure, the people that hate you just know where to go to get you. Then that's you made it too easy, dog. You can't. You got to get some of the other people in here so they can be like, well, we can't fuck them up because some of our people are in that motherfucker. Like that's the whole game. Like one of the things that makes America so tough to fuck with is like some of your people are here, man. You don't want to fuck it. You don't want to blow this. There's some Indian people in this motherfucker. There's some Iranian people here. There's some Jewish. Who you gonna fuck up? We all like, that's why you don't want to fuck with New York, because if you fuck with New York, you fuck with so many different ethnicities that it immediately bands people together.
Yeah.
And so it also
everybody got somebody in New York.
It creates a deterrent. Well, you cause people who might even have thought the same way as you did to rebel against you. Muslims in New York were like, we ain't them Muslims. You gotta fucking
yeah. Fuck those Muslims.
Let's get this shit correct, dog. We are.
That was one New York City thing somebody just kind of slides away from. That's what they're like.
I just want to reiterate. I just want to reiterate what I said earlier. That is exactly what is happening in Chicago right now.
Yeah.
There is going to be a group of talent that comes out of Chicago. I mean, we've had talent come out of Chicago before because of what Chicago is. But once that shit is united, it's going to be what is that metal that they make planes out of? It's like a composite.
Alloy.
It's going to be a composite of emotions that's going to come out of that city that's going to change the face of comedy.
Yeah, well, I think what you'll really get to see is the variety and style of comic who can make it out of the city is what will be great, because, you know, like you said, it was a very either white or black room set up in comedy, and the comics who came out of those places were very much of those two styles. And now you have this thing where like you'll see a black comic who does material that maybe you'd have thought that a white person would do that style of shit before, right? Like a black alt comics who have really broke through the scene. There, you know what I mean? Like this variation in the styles of comics that you get here is really great, which I think will be wonderful. Couple more things before we want to get out of here. Elon Musk was on Saturday Night Live ruining cryptocurrency for everybody.
I know. I had just bought into that shit and he dogged it all out.
Yeah, anybody still got money in Dogecoin right now? Anybody still holding? Anybody got the HODL on, or everybody?
I'm keeping this shit. I ain't gonna just let them take my money. They're gonna have to take it all. I want to see. I'm gonna ride this shit out
to the basement for Rob. Rob's to the basement with it.
I jumped out later than I wish I would. I jumped out at like 50 something, like 53, I think. I made a little bit of coin. I mean, it's back up at 50 right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's had a resurgence today, of course, because like, you know, he said it was a gimmick. I mean, he's not necessarily lying, but everything is a gimmick. The whole financial system here. The reason we don't rise up and kill our masters is because we're still stuck in a gimmick like this. That's the whole demo, right? The whole reason we haven't stormed in and taken what's his face, Josh Hawley, out by his earlobes is a gimmick, right? Like that's the whole reason why Ted Cruz hasn't been kicked in his fat stomach is a gimmick. That's all a gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you call 400 years of brutality a gimmick, okay.
I mean, it's built off a gimmick. They used the gimmick to run that shit when they let the white people free because they were Christians, and then changed it to be like black people are like, that was a gimmick too. It's all a gimmick move. It's all Ponzi scheme shit. You know what I mean?
I kind of feel like if the Queen of England, like if you like got into her private study, she probably has like the original game book. Like the original like, okay, when this starts to happen, then there's a lot of uprising in the southern hemisphere, and then rally the people from the north to blah blah blah. Like,
hey, the title of the book,
because that's the original family. People forget that. People forget that. That's the original family that kind of set all this shit off. All the other dynasties are gone. That's the one that's left.
She's got the Biff Atlas. She got the Biff Atlas from.
I'm not talking about not the future. I'm talking about she has the
her book tells you the plan of white supremacy, and on the cover of it says,
black people are rising like this. This is what you do to squash that shit. That's why the responses are always the same. Like, no matter what difference, like, we rise up for some shit, their response to that shit is always the same. It's a fucking playbook, and that bitch got it.
It says, and on the cover it says, "Ye old bullshit."
The playbook must include something about this Friends reunion that's happening. The show Friends is having a reunion. It was on for 10 years from 94 to 2004. I don't think I've ever seen a full episode. I've seen pieces. I know who all the characters are. I've never seen a full episode. Aisha Taylor, I think, was the only black person who was on there. That's why I haven't seen it.
I believe so, yeah.
That's why I haven't seen it. The reunion is coming. They put out the list of all their guest stars. The regular people are coming back, but they're also bringing on BTS, Lady Gaga, David Beckham, Justin Bieber, James Corden, Cindy Crawford, Cara Delevingne, Elliot Gould, Kit Harington, Larry Hankin, Mindy Kaling, Thomas Lennon, Christina Pickles, Tom Selleck, James Michael Tyler, Maggie Wheeler, Reese Witherspoon. And all I can say is, after 17 years, they still ain't got no black friends. They got 17 years. Not one of them guests is black people. They got no.
And yeah, some of those are like Tom Selleck and Reese Witherspoon are from the original show. They were recurring characters.
No black people, X. How do you still it was a major complaint about why black people didn't watch that show over the last 17 years. A lot of black people have been like, yeah, y'all had like one black person on the show ever, and that's it. And then they do the reunion and nobody goes, hey, we should probably fix this black person problem, right?
You know why they're because what you don't. I don't know if you know this, Bobby, but there's a whole thing that Friends was stolen from a black show. Living Single. Oh, you do know that story? Okay, yeah. I didn't know.
I go to the meetings. I go to the same black people meetings you go to.
All right. You know.
Man, I was working in Cleveland, and I met John Hinton. Now, dude, this is the amazing thing about, I look back on my life and there was some spaces that I've been in that people were paid to be in. And I'm in the backseat of a Jaguar. And as soon as you get in, I was like, man, pleased to meet you. We dap and shit. And then I go, hey, man, I have never, ever watched one episode of Friends because I know it's just Living Single for white people. And he turned back around and he said, brother, I'm glad that we finally figuring this shit out. I mean, he was like, we knew it at the time. He was like, but I'm hearing more black people. Now, this was back in 2005. You understand? And I'm saying like, that's a degree of consciousness that is just worth listening to. Like the shit is still happening. They are still doing the same shit they did to Little Richard. They still doing the shit now. And it was exactly my age range. I was exactly the age that they were at the time. They were doing what they were doing. So
I need to do some confession. I need to do some confessing here real quick. There was a time period for about 3 years that I was like really, really into Friends. like 2001.
I'm not surprised, X. I feel that's a word you.
I was like, I was like mad into Friends, man. I don't know why. I watched like every episode, dude. Like, I'm not kidding. I watched all the old ones that I did. I was like, this shit is good. I don't know why. I also did cocaine then.
Rob, you're right, though. We are starting to figure some shit out. And it's starting to get some differences made. Like, NBC's not going to air the Golden Globes next year. They've decided to cancel that. The Hollywood Foreign Press has been accused of not having enough diversity in their...
No black people.
They got 87 like writers, like, no black people, just like Friends. Yeah, they've been around for...
How many Golden Globes have
are Ross and Rachel in the Hollywood Foreign Press? Is that
Hollywood Foreign Press also produced Friends? I did not know that. No black people.
The writers' room are the journalists from the Hollywood Foreign Press. That's who writes it. But that's a step in the right direction. It's like, yo, man, get your shit together. You get no TV deal, which I will take that. I'm very comfortable with that. That works for me. You guys know there's a new Space Jam movie coming, right?
Oh, yes.
LeBron always got to do a version of what Mike does. He got to. LeBron's always got to have a version. Don Cheadle says that MJ is actually going to be in Space Jam.
Wow.
I don't know how he's going to be in there, but I will take it. I hope he's not. I hope he doesn't. I hope he's got some different jeans on than he normally wears.
I will admit, I did not see Space Jam.
Really?
You've never seen Space Jam?
Never. Because I was in my 20s and I was finger banging and getting lots of sex. I was not watching a lot of TV, and any movie that I saw had nothing to do with childish shit. I'm saying, like, I was in the mindset of not being able to enjoy the little things in life.
I mean, I only saw Space Jam because Michael was in it. You know what I mean? I was like, let me see this thing act. You know what I mean? That was the only reason.
Hey, man, again, I know this is a generational issue, but I was around in comedy when Michael Jordan was winning fucking championship. He couldn't draw a goddamn crowd. So he was not my favorite person in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's trying to fuck with you. In Chicago.
I can't even imagine that. Dude, I can't imagine that. I was doing shows when Derrick Rose was killing it, and that shit was to kill. You remember that, James? Do you remember that?
When Derrick Rose was on the Bulls?
Derrick Rose was killing. Like, you couldn't start a fucking show if that game was on. Nobody, like, if it was a bar, it was a show that was in
comedy
a bar.
Was
Sully's house on Thursday nights.
Spring.
They'd be like, well, we're going to wait until the Bulls game ends and we're going to start the show because nobody would
I did a show in a strip club with the Bulls played the fucking Heat. It was like game 6, like the deciding game. So they got the game on, of course, in the strip club. And between Derrick Rose in his prime, titties, and my jokes, guess which one nobody wanted to look at?
Yeah, your jokes are losing out on that.
Yeah, oh my God.
Udonis Haslem is the player in the league who's been with the team the longest in the NBA. He's been with the Heat for, I think, 17 or 18 years. He's played for the Heat. It's
cool dude.
It's one of the longest tenures I've ever seen a player have. Very cool dude. He hasn't played in a single game this year for the Heat until yesterday. He got into the game. There's only a couple games left of the season. It was probably his last game of the season. He got in the game, bumped into Dwight Howard. He was in the game for a total of 4 minutes before he was promptly ejected for getting into a fight with Dwight Howard. It may be the greatest last time a player played basketball I've ever seen.
Because it's so on brand.
Because Udonis Haslem he's going to be working for the Heat afterwards. He's been with them so long. He's already offered a gig, right? Like he's a Heat guy for life. He's going to work with the team. He's been like with the players union. Like he's been a higher up of the players union before. This is a respected dude. Gets in the game for 4 minutes just to fight with Dwight Howard before he calls it a career.
Dude, he is one of the, if not the most gangster dude in the league. He just called out KG, Kevin Garnett. Somebody had a list of like the all-time tough guys, and it was Kobe Bryant, KG, and I think Tim Duncan. Maybe the dude said it was a weird question, but Douglas has him literally stopped. He's like, "Whoa, you tough guys? You want to take KG off that list?" Yeah. He stopped the interview to make sure that dude knew KG wasn't for real tough.
Oh wow!
Like,
take it right off.
And if you Kevin Garnett, that's like literally his entire brand. It's like, I'm tough, and this motherfucker took time out to like make sure, that nigga, no, not him. He's a cool cat. I lived briefly in Miami, and I ran into him in a Jamaican like Dirty Spoon. That I'm a very big person, so whenever I walk in a room and somebody is as big or bigger than me, it's like a spidey sense tingles, like, what the fuck is going on? And he was sitting at this place had like a bar, and he was sitting at the bar, him and another Heat player that I can't think of off the top of my head. And as soon as I opened the door, like, I'm fatter than them, but them motherfuckers was bigger than me. Like, Dennis Haskins, I think, is only 6'9". Or 6, I don't even think he's 6'10", and he's bigger than me. And anybody who knows me knows that that's a big statement to say. Like, he made me feel small. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about basketball players. I was just like, who the fuck are these giants? And then I realized,
there's some last thing I want to touch on. There is a murder suspect who got caught down in Houston, Texas. His name is Victor Cuevas. He had a tiger in his possession, because if you're a murder suspect, you might as well have a tiger in your possession. That tiger is missing. It has been missing for like a week now, 4 or 5 days in Houston.
Where you say this was, Bobby?
Houston, Texas.
Oh,
Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been missing for like a week now in Texas. I don't know.
Hey man, I just left
Houston is a city, dog. That's not like that's not the country. That's a real location with like that's a city.
I'm just gonna say, I just left Houston. I'm gonna say this: in Houston, the brothers stick together.
Yeah, the police said the tiger's probably been passed around like 7 or 8. Like they say they believe that the tiger's been moved around. Somebody's got it and is trying to, like, there's a network of people who are shuttling the tiger around so it can't be gotten.
Come on.
There's a tiger network in Houston, dog.
There's
it's crazy.
Underground tiger railroad. Come on.
Oh my God! But my brothers, the most incredible thing is that I seen somebody's newscast talking to Carol Baskins. I'm like, oh my God!
Oh,
like,
she's back, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, man,
Carol Baskins.
On that note, X, where are you at this week? You got anything going on? What's happening?
Yeah, I got something going on. I got something big going on, and you there with me. The Comedy Shrine is back. The new theater, 400-seat stand-up theater, which I will be running a show called Jazz and Jokes.
Jazz and Jokes.
Jazz and Jokes. And guess which part I am? We're gonna have every first Thursday. We have some very, very dope comedians coming out this very first week. This Thursday coming up, we got my man Bobby Hill. Bobby,
I'll be there.
He gonna be there. I might bring you to the stage like that. Nobody will get it. But Bobby Hill's gonna be there, and also my good friend and queen of Chicago comedy, Kristen Toomey, is first show.
Love
and
that.
And then just to fast forward, we talked about it briefly as we get the show. It probably didn't make sense at that time. But on July 1st, Robert Hines will be at the comedy here in Aurora with Mara Lee opening for him. So that's a combination that's a fire combination. We got a bunch of good shows coming up. It's gonna be awesome.
Where can people find more information about that, man?
At XL Comedy on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. There'll be information about the shows coming up right after this show.
Nice. Rob, where are you gonna be at this week, man? You coming to town, ain't you?
Zany's Monday night. Y'all better come on out there. We will be there hanging out. We're gonna probably do something afterwards because I know y'all gonna be there. You know how we like
drugs. I'm coming out. We ain't got no mask, baby.
Hey, if you want to be in this energy live, come out Monday night. We're gonna be at Zany. And I'm also gonna be at X joint on July the 1st. And I'm really looking forward to that. And you can find me on Robert_L_Hines across social media.
Nice. You can find me at Mocha_Jesus. XL's already told you where I'm going to be at. Find the show at New OGs Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Go to @People of Comedy and @People of Comedy Network on Twitter and Instagram. Find all the great show they got going on there. Chase these guys down. Get out to some live shows. Support live comedy. We'll catch you next week. That's what's up.
You knew that I would never fold. So many doubted, fuck them all. Now they gon' have to pay our tickets, sell our shows before we hit the road. They said we couldn't do it, now we do it just to say we did it.